Welcome to this lovely planning commission of Lehi City on February 26, 2026. Call to order. And I will entertain a motion about the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Let's give Jacob just a minute. Sorry, Jacob.
Did you already approve the minutes?
We did.
Oh, you're so fast.
7:01. We got
No. Where you been?
Okay.
All right, we are good to go,
We're good to go.
for the regular
Okay.
agenda. Jacob, take us away.
Perfect. Item 3.1 is public hearing and consideration of Cascade Collision's request for approval of a plat amendment for Lehi Plaza Plat B located at 1115 East Main Street, adding one additional commercial lot. And there are no improvements with this plat amendment. It really is just the addition of the one lot. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for any questions.
Any questions for staff?
Which lot is it?
That's the new one. It's lot 4.
Lot 4. So they're just adjusting the lot line to the east there, or I was looking at this and I couldn't quite figure out which.
Right. Sorry, Kim. I'm trying to remember what they did on this one. And then extending lot.
But Cascade, they own the whole
Yeah.
piece, right? And they're just shifting the lot line a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, was that? They were just including. So I guess that piece wasn't part of the original subdivision area, so they were just adding that in as part of the land they own.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant present? Which would be Cascade Collision. They're not. Did anybody? Yeah, tisk. Did anybody have questions for the applicant? Or are you guys comfortable if we move forward? Okay, this is a public hearing. At this time, if anybody is here from the public that would like to speak to item 3.1, this is your time. Seeing the mad rush slow down, we will close the public hearing and bring it back for further communication or a motion.
I don't see any issues with this. Does anyone else?
I didn't see anything that stood out.
Okay, putting forward a motion for item 3.1, public hearing and consideration of Cascade Collision's request for approval of a plot amendment for Lehi Plaza Plat B located at 11115 East Main Street, adding one additional commercial lot. Moving that we approve the proposed plot amendment with the findings being that the commercial subdivision is just legal subdivision, subdividing of land, that it does meet the requirements of the commercial zone, that it does meet the requirements of the development code, and please include the various DRC comments.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. 3.1 passes. Moves forward. 3.2.
I think this was just the approval. It's done here. You're good.
Done. Yep.
Yep.
Sweet.
Okay. Item 3.2 is public hearing and recommendation of JDH Development's request for review of the Vivian Estates Phase 5 zone change on 11.58 acres located at approximately 2125 North, 600 East, changing the zoning from TH5 transitional holding to RA1. And this matches the general plan designation for the property of VLDR. It's for the development of future phases of Vivian Estates. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for any questions.
Any questions for staff? Is the applicant present? come on up. State your name and tell us anything that we didn't hear from the lovely report.
Name is Austin Cooper, and no, it's basically the same. This is phase 5 of Vivian Estates, so it's just the next phase, kind of transition into getting ready to do the development.
Okay. Any questions for the applicant? Pretty light tonight.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing. If anybody is here to speak to item 3.2, this is your chance to come up. And we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for further communication or a motion.
I didn't have any heartburn on this one just because it's in line with the general plan, transitioning it from the TH5 to the RA1.
Agreed?
Same.
Agreed.
Right, chair error. May
Chair
I make
error.
a motion? I've been
Yes, you
working.
may.
I've been working on that all day. So I'm glad you giggled. Thank you.
Noreen will get mad at you if you ask permission. You're not
really?
supposed to.
Chair error. I'm going to make a motion.
Do it.
On item 3.2, public hearing and recommendation of JDH Development's request for a review of the Vivian Estates Phase 5 zone change on 11.58 acres located at approximately 2125 north, 600 east, changing the zoning from TH5, the transitional holding, to RA1, residential agriculture. I move that we recommend approval of the proposed zone change and that it does fit with the general plan. It will allow the property to develop in a similar way that's around it. And please include all DRC comments.
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion moves forward. When does this go to City Council?
It should be, let's see, probably the end of March, it looks like, March 24th.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, 3.3.
Item 3.3 is public hearing and consideration of Symphony Homes' request for preliminary subdivision, approval of Fox Trail, an 8-lot single-family residential subdivision located at 1500 North, 2850 West. You may remember the concept from a few months ago. I was here that night. So this is, like I said, 8 lots. They range in size from 16,000 to 33,000 square feet. And then the flexibility was granted with the concept in the lot sizes as part of the density in lieu, which was an agreement because of the decision to widen, or the necessity to widen 1500 North. So that 1 lot of flexibility in lot sizes was granted. And the project still meets the base density of 1.75 units per acre, which is what the R122 zone would typically require. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for any questions. Oh, and I guess I should also note for Ken again and for everyone, this is not a PUD. It was just the density in lieu. So,
Understood. Any questions for staff? Is the applicant present?
Hi, I'm Russ Wilson with Symphony Homes. Happy to answer any questions.
Anything else that we should hear that Jacob maybe missed?
I don't think so. We're excited to get moving forward.
Great.
Thank you.
Any questions for the applicant? All right, we're pretty easy tonight.
Keep
All
it
right,
simple.
this is a public hearing. If anybody from the public would like to speak to this, and I know there were some
There's
online
2,
comments that
yeah.
we'll get to, this is your time.
I'd like to quickly.
Yeah.
I'm one of the online
perfect.
comments too. So, Paul Jones. I live backed up to that lot right there. First, I just want to say thank you to both Symphony and the city. You guys have been working with us for a long time on this, and I appreciate everyone going back and forth on this and working through it. We're still not super happy that all these lots are much less than a half acre. The only change when we went from 9 lots to 8 lots was that the 2 lots that were already a half acre are now bigger. But the other 6 lots are still the same size. They're all still less than a half acre, which isn't really what the zoning suggested they should be. To be honest, like we're at a bit of an impasse. I mean, you guys may think we're good and we're going to go ahead, and that's fine. But I would love to see actually the connectivity revisited on this. The main reason we can't get those lots bigger is because we're forced to put that road through right there. And I understand the connectivity laws and the reasonings behind it, but there's another road just 2 houses away. It's about 200 feet. It's really not very far. So I don't know that the connectivity is really getting us what we want. It's just making all of the homeowners less happy about where they're at because the lots are not the way they are supposed to be. So I think that's my only comment. I'd love to have that revisited before we run through again. So thank you.
Anyone else? Do you mind reading those?
Yeah. So Stephen Hansen mentioned that, I guess I'll just read it since this one's actually pretty short. As an adjacent neighbor, I like and prefer this 8-lot plan over the previous plans. Park strips on this section of road have not done well, specifically several trees on 1500 North, and the few existing park strips between 2300 West and the river have died or been pulled out. Perhaps hardscaping would be more appropriate. Also, any chance improvements to the surrounding fence can be required, replacing the cattle fence for a standard residential fence. And then Mr. Jones gave his comment already, so yep, you're good. Okay.
And Mr. Jones, we did read it as well. So we'll close the public hearing, bring it back for further discussion. I guess, Kim, do you want to discuss kind of the reasonings for our connectivity standard?
Sure.
Or would you mind describing the reasons for it?
Sure. Yeah. So, in fact, I was just measuring from the existing street to the west to where this stub road would connect. It's about a little over 400 feet, about 420 feet-ish. All of our downtown blocks are 420, pretty equivalent to what this is. So it is basically a city block, even though, out on this west side it might feel closer, but we have connectivity standards for various reasons. Everything from emergency response is probably, some of the higher priority to make sure our fire department can get around. Some of it's just convenience for the people that live in the neighborhood. Some of it's pedestrian. It might be easy to get around in a car if this road didn't connect, but as a pedestrian, it would, it's much more challenging to walk an extra, quarter of a mile or whatever if you are trying to get to some kind of a destination. So it's just really about livability, making sure people can get around with all modes, and like I said, emergency access. If we look at some of the neighborhoods before we had our connectivity standards, when you don't have a lot of connectivity, it pushes all of that neighborhood traffic onto just one or two roads, and then it really starts to impact those people that happen to live on those that become kind of a collector road. So it helps kind of disperse that impact as well. So.
And as far as our purview, we're not even allowed to waive this, right? It's in our code.
Right. Unless you had, if it was adjacent to the Jordan River or a railroad or a major arterial that didn't allow access, then obviously we exempt, we can deviate from the standards. But unless there's some rational reason, a compelling reason like that, we have to follow the standard.
Okay.
What's the lot sizes of the surrounding areas?
The lot sizes to the south, it's part of the College Farms PRD. And so although they were zoned RA1, which is a 15,000 square foot minimum, some of them are smaller than that because they as a PRD, they were able to, similar to this, they had flexibility on frontage and lot size. They dedicated a large piece of open space over there on the Jordan River, and then they have a small park for the neighborhood as well. So that open space, it's kind of a trade-off, and we got the open space in lieu of them being able to have a little bit smaller lot sizes. So I guess Jacob can click on a few
it looks
of
like
these.
several of these are around 0.45, so they're a little bit under the 22,000, but a little bit bigger than the ones in the Fox Trail subdivision.
And R122 requires half-acre lots, right? And the reason that we are considering under is because of the widening of the road?
Correct, yeah. They asked, originally they had asked for 2 additional lots. The base density is 7 lots. They asked for 9, and they were offering to do some additional landscaping along 1500 North. They still will have to put some landscaping in, but it was going to be wider with some entry monuments. When it went through the concept review, they were granted 1 additional lot, not the 2, so that they're now at the density of 8. So, and that's, a trade-off versus the city having to reimburse for the additional pavement and right-of-way on 1500 North. It's a tool that we've used quite a bit over the years to help pay for those additional road widening impacts. Instead of taking that money out of our road impact fees, we can use more of that money for putting sidewalks downtown or other bigger projects. So.
And just for, I guess, an understanding from the public as well as us as commissioners, that is a city council decision, right? We can give a recommendation, yay or nay, but really we're looking at code, does it fit, et cetera, and then city council decides if they're comfortable with, they hold the purse. We don't hold the purse in this body, right? So we give our recommendation and then they make the final decision if they are allowing that in lieu of density or in lieu of the improvement. So just for protocol of what we're doing here. Any other questions for staff?
Yeah, one question. I expect staff probably does not have on hand the number, but I'm curious if the road were not widened, would those lots, would they meet code?
With this layout here, I don't think it did. I think their base density was 7 lots.
Yeah, they did. Anytime we do a bonus like this, they have to show us how many lots could you fit with standard zoning, and that was where we came up with 7.
Gotcha.
So.
And that's where the 1 qualified for the widening and the pavement on 1500 qualified for the extra lot. Yep.
Okay.
Can you zoom in on the cul-de-sac again and what are the lot sizes exactly? So 20.
So you got 20,
Just under 21.
20,000, and then these two are both 16, just over 16,000.
So if I did the math right, there's really, lot 3, 4, 8, and 7 are under that half acre?
5 and
All
6
of them
are
are.
under the half acre.
They
as
are
well.
too?
Yeah, because it's
But
22.
all of those are under.
Yeah,
22 is our
half acre.
22
true
is
half
half
acre
acre.
is 21,700
Yeah.
some odd, but
Yeah.
our R122 zone is, so it's actually a little bit more than a true half acre. So these are just slightly below a true half acre, but
I'm not sure how they would fit 8 or 7. Right? No, I'm not sure how they would fit 8 without doing it this way and keeping the roads connected.
yeah.
But was it the previous city council or the current city council that gave them the density?
Previous, it was back December.
Yeah, that sounds
November,
right.
December.
Yeah, and I guess we were just talking about this. That you are the final approval body on the subdivision at this point. Because normally the density in lieu would go to council, but it already went to council.
Understood.
So at this point, it's not a standard subdivision, but it almost acts like a standard subdivision.
And how much road did we give up? 15 feet, 20 feet?
On 1500,
Yeah.
I don't remember right off the top of my head.
Oh, sorry. Did the developer give up?
it's 38 from center line of existing. So a local street is 60 feet right of way. So it's 30 would have been half.
Is it 17 point?
Yeah, I guess if that dashed line, I'm not 100% sure if that's.
So I guess it's like, could they have even ever gotten 22,000 square foot lots? Yes.
Applicant, you're welcome back up.
I guess like the thing I'm struggling with is they gave you 8. Was there ever a chance to get 22,000 square foot lots?
Two things. I think so. It's been a while, so I can't recall. But I think with not making that connection where it's at by almost doing like an S curve, I think that's what I showed on a previous concept. Also, in addition, we did show a concept where we had 2 large lots on the far east side, which were well over 22,000 square feet.
Right.
We eliminated the cul-de-sac, and then we had 6 lots facing each other. So 8 lots total. We were told we couldn't do that just because of the connectivity, making sure
That it had to go
or what was it exactly? It was, I think it was something with the road street traffic department.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luke shot it down.
We'll see if we can find the 7-lot base layout.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
Oh, yeah, maybe I sent it to you.
Well, I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I remember when this came through.
Was it August? Oh, so it's been a little bit longer than I was thinking.
Yeah.
I knew it was last year, but it's all.
I remember it. I didn't know when it was, but I remembered it. Because, yeah, you had some weird shaped lots at the end of the cul-de-sac. Like, they were large and skinny, and there was some weird how they extended out towards the 1500 North. Unless I'm confusing it with even another project. But,
Let's see. That's concept plan 1, but that's the 9-lot. That's not.
So that was the 9-lot version.
That's probably just the narrative. It's probably an email. I'd have to go back and see if I could find it. It's not this one.
Anyways, I think there is a way to get bigger lots. It would just change. Connectivity and I remember now when we presented the idea of 2 large lots on the east side that would access 1500 North, the traffic department said no, we can't have driveways.
Oh, gotcha. So there's
Separate
no
driveways.
fronting.
Yeah. So, but the lots would have been a lot bigger, and it would have been cheaper for us to develop because we would eliminate that whole cul-de-sac out of it. So, the College Farms neighborhood that we did, by the way. So, the lots adjacent to this are, like they said, about 0.45, 0.46. But I did a calculation of all of the lots in College Farms. I think there's 97 total lots, and the average lot size is closer to like 0.33 or 0.34 or something like that. So,
but it's a different
on average, they're
development with different rules, right?
pretty close to this.
So, it is nice to know what's in the area, but it's apples and oranges, right? A little bit.
Sure. No, it's the one adjacent. So
Sure. No, I get it. But
anyways, thank you.
any other questions for staff or the applicant? I failed to realize this does not go to City Council. City Council already did their thing. They approved the additional lot. Any other discussion?
By way of discussion, I'm conflicted in that it's not, I don't see this as being a big change, a big thing to approve, but I just asked myself, like, where do you draw the line as far as shrinking lots? And I'm not sure where the line is.
Legal, from your perspective, I know you've been waiting for us to turn towards you. City Council already approved the bonus lot, which is going to shrink the lots, which puts them under the code's requirement. What leeway, what standing do we have in this situation? To approve or deny?
I'm gonna ask him real fast if he has any input on that while I do some research.
Because are we held to the standard that the City Council approved, or are we held to the standard of the code?
It is in the code. Jacob will show you really quick here. So it's this note 1. This table that we're looking at is where it talks about lot size, setbacks, all those things. It's hard to read, but do you want to read it?
Yeah, I can read it. For subdivisions located along a master plan major roadway or master plan trail, the applicable land use authority, following review and recommendation from the DRC, may allow higher density, reduced lot size, reduced frontage, or other design considerations in lieu of payment to the developer for a right-of-way and/or improvements required by the Lehi City General Plan, Master Transportation Plan, and/or Lehi City Design Standards and Public Improvement Specifications Manual, Concept Plan required, which, yeah, I think that's probably a big caveat, right? The concept plan required. But it would be nice if it said, not reducing it beyond one general plan designation or something, but it doesn't really give specifics on how far down can you go. But I think that was a good question, Bo.
So yeah, bottom line, by code, you have the ability to approve it, and where it's already had the concept plan approved by City Council, that's the direction that
Changing the connectivity isn't an option. The road has to go in. It has to be there.
Yes.
Doesn't feel like a lot of wiggle room.
No, it's an interesting piece. Like, it's like, how do you, you can't have frontage on 1500. How do you get full access to the lots in the back without? Like, you could make it 2 lots or under by shrinking those 2 on the corner and making them really small. But then that doesn't, instead of having 4 or 5 that are 1/3 acre or larger.
So please forgive my naivety. Someone said earlier that we can't get away from the 8 lots, but couldn't we remove one of these lots and then the remaining 5 lots there just absorb that land, bringing them all up to code?
I would. I think. I'm guessing this might be a good legal question too, but that probably would have been a decision made before, right? When this came to Planning Commission and City Council.
Right, that's not a decision for our body.
Yeah.
That's a decision for
You could
City
have said,
Council, and they already made their decision of granting.
because I guess you would have said, Lehi City, you eat the cost on the road improvements. We're not giving the density.
Right.
Maybe not a question for legal.
we're-
Maybe I just nailed
But
it.
we're past that. We're past that moment.
Yeah, they asked for 9. It was compromised. They got 8 out of 7. It was and I'm trying to find it. I know they had a layout that met the 22,000. That's how we established that baseline. And then they asked for 9. Council gave it a haircut and gave them 8 out of the 9. So, but yeah, that was a decision made last year to allow the additional density in lieu of the right-of-way.
Any other discussion?
I don't
Make a motion.
Yeah, I feel like Bo. I'm caught between
Yeah.
the R122 and where do we draw the line? But for this piece of ground, is this the highest and best use for this piece of ground?
And honestly, I probably agree that it is. given everything that we've heard so far, I think it probably is the best use. I don't like that we're shrinking lot sizes.
And that decision's been made by city council. So we're kind of in a pickle, I think is what we're in.
I don't think we're in a pickle. I think it's pretty straightforward. The city council approved it, and so I'm not even considering the lot size.
Yeah.
I'm considering the layout, the connectivity, and the, subdivision approval.
Can you go back to the map just 1 second? The one that's
This one?
yeah. Zoom out just so we can see. There you go. Cool.
I'll entertain a motion if someone's got one.
I don't have the cheat code in front of me. I'll make a motion. Is it, the proposed subdivision does meet the requirements of the Lehi City Development Code in regards to the subdivision approvals, and that we include any DRC comments.
Are you giving a positive?
Positive. Yeah. Positive approval of it.
Motion.
I'll give a second.
Motion in a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Did you get that, Kate? All right, motion does pass. Thank you. And thank you for your time. 3.4.
Yeah. Item 3.4 is public hearing and recommendation of Lehi City's request for review of a development code amendment, adding Chapter 12D flood damage prevention in compliance with FEMA requirements. Unfortunately, our stormwater reviewer, Shelby Brewer, was sick and she was going to attend and present this. She was the one who worked on this. So if you have a lot of questions, we may need to table it. But otherwise, what I can tell you is this chapter, it's a new edition. It focuses on flood damage prevention and controlling development in flood-prone areas. And we had to do this because FEMA recently remapped the area. We were asked to update the ordinance, but since we did not have an ordinance, we needed to create the ordinance. So there's a lot of definitions in here and then some specific regulations. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for any questions.
Thank you, Jacob. Questions for staff?
This is one we can table.
We may. We can
To
table
when?
anything.
To what period? Till when? Because the author, I'd love to hear from the author and what she has to say about it.
Yeah, and I think to the next meeting, if that was your decision. She
Our
just
next regular meeting.
Yeah, our next regular meeting. She just came down with the flu or something. So
It's going around. It sounds like everybody's
something
got
like
it.
that. And I think the big thing on this, she mentioned to us, we have to have this adopted by, is it July 1st or June?
Yeah.
There's a timetable, but it's not.
We're not
You're not
pushing up against it.
Yeah.
Not tight.
But yeah, I guess if you want to hear more, ask more questions about it, definitely could table it. At some point, we have to adopt something, I guess is.
This is being pushed by FEMA's new
Pushed by
definitions.
FEMA,
It's
yeah.
not necessarily an outside force other than that
Yeah,
that's pushing for
correct.
us.
Yep.
Got it.
And that's just because they updated their survey in the area.
Exactly.
And I think it also, I think it also affects, like if we had a flood and if we're applying for emergency funds and things like that, the federal government requires cities to have something along this lines.
Does this add protection for our residents as well, or is that just the city if we're applying for funds?
That's a good question. Yeah, I
Or
don't know.
does the residents have to have something to lean on in our code as well?
I would think it's probably just more for federal, which comes
Sure,
down through the
sure.
cities. But yeah, I mean, it does add some additional layers of regulation. If you're going to develop in the floodplain, it has very specific requirements. So it goes way beyond. You know, we have some basic things that say really we try and encourage people not to develop or do anything in the floodplain. But this does, you know, it talks about if you develop, you have to be a certain elevation above what they've determined is the flood elevation with your buildings, and if it's a commercial building, you have to have all of your utility things above that flood elevation. There's all kinds of details in there. It's really FEMA's attempt, after all these years of flooding in the U.S., they've learned a lot of things, and so this is trying to avoid, so that they don't have to pay out. So they're incentivizing cities to have regulations to
It's
avoid.
an insurance thing.
Yeah.
We're battling with insurance for weeks
Yeah.
on different things. So
Yeah, this is to try and avoid the
Yeah.
headaches that they've lived through probably umpteen times with all the flooding, and so anyways, but Shelby, I'm sure she'd be happy to, she really wanted to be here, but
yeah. I mean, I think one of my questions would be like, are there things in this that we would need to go back based on a redoing of the map? Are there things that we would have to retroactively as a city go back and fix so that we're meeting the standard, or is that just in the future if something happens here, if it meets the code, we might be, or if it meets the criteria, we might be able to get the funds, but if not, and we didn't fix it, then no?
I think it's just going forward.
Just going
to
forward, okay.
regulate.
But if an existing structure came in with a permit, they were doing some project on their home, maybe they were extending, they were putting an extension
Adding
on the
on or
back of their
something.
home,
Yeah.
they would then have to come up to this new standard, is that correct?
If they, or 50% of the value of the,
Yeah, if I was reading this correctly, it was a requirement in there, if you do more than 50% of the value of the home as an upgrade, then you have to qualify for these new rules,
you have to bring it up to.
if that makes sense. I probably didn't state that correctly.
I didn't see that in here, is that in here?
Yeah, I was just looking for it. It's a long thing here.
Yeah.
Do we have any public comment on it?
There was not any
That's true, we
public
can hold
comment.
the public.
Not on this item, no.
This is a public hearing. Did anybody have further discussion? Okay. If anybody's here to speak to item 3.4, this is your chance. Public hearing is open. All right.
Is this one that we, oh, sorry, my bad.
Sorry, go close the public hearing.
Is this one that we adopt, or city council still has to adopt it?
The city council has to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also sad that Shelby isn't here to present this. I'd love to be able to better understand it from her. I am happy to also put forward a motion if we don't want to table it.
City council's got to approve it anyways.
If we were the last body, I would feel less comfortable, but with it going to city council and her having a chance to present to them.
There, yeah.
All right, okay, item 3.4, public hearing recommendation of Lehi City's request for review of a development code amendment adding chapter 12D, flood damage prevention and compliance with FEMA. The recommendation being that we approve the proposed amendment to Lehi City's development code, with the findings being that the proposed development code amendment is in conformance with the purposes, intent, and provisions of the general plan and its various elements, and that it is based upon information presented. There was nothing presented really during the public hearing. No comments, no nothing. There was one DRC comment though, so please add those spaces between paragraphs for consistent formatting. And that is all.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
That's funny that
Okay.
you caught that. I did not catch that.
FEMA offered this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right, 3.5.
Item 3.5 is public hearing and recommendation of Lehi City's request for review of a development code amendment to Chapter 37, removing the exception for the maximum setback of 50 feet if there is a modular parking allowed. You may remember this from last meeting. We had to deal with this, and that was partially what inspired this code amendment. Really, probably the purpose of this is to simplify the design standards and eliminate some of those conflicting requirements. The State Highway Design District and the General Non-Residential District have this, these two kind of conflicting things, the allowance for modular parking between the building and the street, but also having a max setback of 50 feet. And it's pretty rare that you could meet both. So the idea is to clean this up and no longer require the exception to have the setback. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for any questions.
Thank you. I do have a question. Yeah, I understand the reasoning
Yeah.
why, especially even after we saw it last
Yeah.
week, or 2 weeks ago. But however, does this just leave it wide open? Right? Are we going to put some limitation on how far back it can be?
I guess
Is it going to be far back from the end of the module, like the curb of the? I mean, what are we?
like I said, I guess it just says for the one module of parking, and there's dimensions for what a module of parking is in the code. So I guess that would kind of put a natural limit on it.
Which is about 62 feet. If you figure, 20 foot, 24 foot aisle, 18 to 20 foot on your stalls, and then a 24 foot aisle, that's about 62 feet.
So we're not going to define like saying it has to be 65 feet or less, like, or whatever. Right?
I mean, we could write it that way.
I just feel like someone could come in here and say, well, the code says I can go back 80 feet because there's no number there,
Yeah.
right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the only concern that I really had with it. I don't disagree with
Yeah. The idea
removing it as a, I mean, it's nice to not have an exception, right, for this. But I worry about somebody taking advantage of it in ways that we might not be protecting ourselves from.
It may not hurt to put a upper number. I guess the module, and then you'd have some landscaping required out front.
I'm trying to think about a situation where it ends up being more than that. Like,
Yeah.
because if you have your standard drive width, right, and then the module parking, it's not like it's multiple modules. I don't know.
Yeah.
And doesn't this only apply to certain uses, right?
Yeah, that module of parking being allowed.
And that module of parking, regardless, is still conditional, right? It still has to come forward with a conditional approval.
Not the module parking, no. Because, yeah, since this is just in state highway and general non-residential, I think it's usually for more auto-related uses, kind of like what was the one last week or 2 weeks ago? Office warehouse or things
I
like
think
that.
it has
Industrial.
a list of uses.
It's on a different page, and I think it got removed from this
Oh.
upload. Let me see if I can find it. But
Pulled up in 37.
yeah, but yeah, I guess it would be a permitted use in those situations. So then you wouldn't actually have to have seen that project that came last time.
Right.
Yeah, so here's kind of the list. Maximum of one parking module for auto-oriented uses: gas station, car wash, auto repair, auto sales. But then I think there were some other ones as well. Industrial uses. Typo right there.
Except Twain's.
Except Twain's.
That's an awesome one.
Oh, yeah, there's the module.
There's the module.
Our code is perfect and infallible. It has no
What do other
has
cities?
no errors in it.
What do other cities have as a rule for this?
Varies, yeah. Some cities are like, maybe Park City is on the other extreme where they allow, very rarely do they ever allow parking in front of a building, especially in certain districts. And that's why we do regulate it we have different design districts. So if this was Main Street or downtown, then we probably wouldn't want this to apply. We want the buildings to be up to the street, but for these specific uses where they're very much more auto-oriented, that's where we've decided to not hold on to that standard. We used to say across the board our preference was always to orient the building to the street, but with gas stations, some of those uses, it's just so difficult to get the pumps and the people to be able to pull in. Not have to drive literally around the back of the store to get to the pumps. So we just said, okay, this doesn't fit all sizes, so. And that's where the general commercial, so yeah, if we were to go into some of the other districts, this isn't even
An
option.
allowance, yeah.
Mhm.
But I do think it'd be a good idea to give a maximum setback
Yeah,
to make that clear that so
Give
we
an
don't
actual
have to,
ceiling, like an
Yeah.
actual.
Yeah.
so we don't play that game.
And again, who knows? Like, I'm not saying that it would, but
Yeah.
someone with bad intentions could take
Yeah.
advantage of it, right?
yeah, so if a parking module is 60, I think is, for the
Yeah.
18-foot stalls, and then normally, if they met all the requirements, we'd normally have 20 feet of landscaping from the back of the sidewalk to where the parking starts. So if we said 80 feet or 85 feet, maybe give them a little bit of, because a 20-foot stall depth, that would give you a 64-foot module. 74, 84. If we said 85, that would be, that would keep it as tight as we could. Yeah, you could say with, no more than 85-foot total or something like that.
That would just be my suggestion,
Yeah.
that we give
Yeah.
some limitation.
Yeah,
to it.
so you could just say
Yeah.
maximum setback of 50 feet shall be allowed for building except for uses or unless a modular parking is allowed, in which case the setback may be allowed up to 85 feet or something like that. Not to exceed 85 feet.
I don't know what the right number is, but whatever you guys are comfortable with, I think
Yeah.
we should put a number in there.
Yeah, I'd rather have somebody have to come and ask for an exception and explain why they need additional space than to just give somebody the freedom to do it, whatever they wanted.
But I also really appreciate that we wouldn't have to see it. Right? So,
Did I miss a really good meeting last time?
no.
I just feel like this issue's popped up, I don't know, several times
Yeah,
over the last
few
few
times.
years.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It's like
come
one of
up.
those ones that's just like it's a reoccurring issue. So we just finally decided to, amend the code.
Yeah, because we generally allow
Granted,
the modular
yeah.
parking
I think it was
for
all-
certain uses,
yeah.
right?
I think it was for probably all those businesses along Boston Street. They all
Right.
came in for the same
Every
exception.
one
The
of them did.
landscaping one, the swim school. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
this is sorry, did anybody have any other questions for staff? This is a public hearing. This time we'll open the public hearing for item 3.5. If you're here to speak to this item, this is your chance. Seeing none, then there were no comments online,
Not
correct?
for this item.
We'll close the public hearing and bring it back for further discussion or a motion.
I will make a motion.
You may. Just kidding.
Now I'm confused. On item 3.5, public hearing recommendation of Lehi City's request for a review of a development code amendment to Chapter 37, removing the exception for the maximum setback if there is a modular parking allowed. I move that we recommend approval, but with the recommendation that a maximum setback of 85 feet be included in our recommendation. It's a lot of recommending. Finding that it fits with the development code, it's in conformance with its purpose, intent, and provisions.
I'm going to be prickly. Can we change that instead? I don't pretend to know that 85 feet's the right number.
I was going to agree with
Be-
Can we just say, or whatever staff feels is necessary, and then you guys can think about it and put what you
Yeah.
want?
Then it
Some
gives
different
staff-
scenarios, sure.
I would change the well,
Different scenarios, or I mean, if they want a different scenario, then they have to come in and get an exception.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking of like
But-
I've laid out one tonight. I think that 85 should be good, but I guess you just want to allow a little more time.
Give you some
Oh.
time to think about it, think through it,
Sure,
and
that
see
works.
if,
Give you,
if that's
give you
the right
time to put the
number.
numbers together, figure out a
Yeah.
fair distance.
Yeah.
Kate, can you figure that out?
Or would you like us to just start over?
Right? I don't want to start over.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. 3.6.
For my notes too. You would like us to add a max setback with the modular parking. It might be 85 feet, but you would like us to research it further. Perfect. Cool.
Wordsmith over there.
Thank you.
I will pass that information along.
Up to 300 feet.
Up to 300.
Back of the property.
On the lot line.
On the lot.
The last item, well, the last regular item of the evening. Public hearing and recommendation of Lehi City's request for a review of a development code amendment to Chapter 35, Urban Forestry, creating a limit on rock mulch. Let's see. Yeah, so this seeks to create a limit on the amount of rock mulch that can be used in commercial developments as well as multifamily residential. And concerns arose over the last several months, probably last several years, about the long-term maintenance of rock mulch as well as the kind of urban heat island effect and kind of the heating up and the impact it was having on some of the trees in the park strip. An original draft of this text showed the limitation to be only 30% allowed. I know there was some additional conversation within city departments, and that number was raised to 60% to allow more rock mulch, but I guess you have flexibility on what percentage of rock mulch you would like. But that was the number that was settled on, was the 60% of no more than that can be, no more than 60% of the total landscape can be rock mulch. The amendment also encourages the use of native plants and encourages single-family developments to consider a limitation as well. So, again, an encouragement, a recommendation, not actual teeth requiring it. I know, and this might be mentioned, there's a public comment related to this. I know there's some thoughts on some of the other park strip requirements and things, but I guess what I'm trying to say is the sole intent of this code amendment really was to focus on the rock mulch component versus some of the other elements. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Planning Commission for any questions.
Any questions for staff?
Yeah, this is a simple one, though. Churches are considered commercial?
Residential.
Non-residential.
So, yeah, I would say.
So,
That's a good question, though, because a lot of times the church does end up in like a residential zone and then a residential
Yeah.
but it's a non-residential use.
Non-residential use.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Answer's yes.
churches are commercial, considered
A
commercial.
non-residential use.
Non-residential.
Nobody is
Because
living.
that could be
yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
Non-residential and commercial.
Versus
Because the
commercial.
language in the packet is commercial.
Yeah.
So would it affect a church or not?
Well, just park strips for. Oh, yeah. That specifies non-residential there. And maybe that's an amendment to this section is instead of multifamily residential, institutional.
I guess
Institutional actually probably would cover church.
schools, churches.
Yeah. If you wanted to add the word churches or non-residential.
Well, and schools for that matter.
Yeah. If you
Yeah.
wanted to be more specific, I think you could add it.
Because schools would definitely be institutional.
Mm-hmm.
How'd they get the 60 verse 30 again?
So when this code amendment started with the planning department, and I think our original idea was the 30%. So to have it, pretty strict on how much rock mulch we allow. And then I believe some of the conversation, I don't know if it was with engineering or public works. I'm gonna throw Gary under the bus a little bit, and parks. They wanted to raise it to 60%.
Gary.
So this might be I think that partially might have been due to what type of road classification it was. So, anyways,
There's been a large push in Utah to zero-scape, and that feels like that's where the rock mulch has come from, especially with the governor's mandates and stuff like that. Does this hurt us at all as far as state funding and things like that if we're putting limitations on xeriscape in commercial areas?
I don't think it would. We're just changing the material, like your mulch material from, you could still do non-turf. It just would be bark versus the rock. So
We still have the xeriscaping requirements. It's just.
I think the state, and we could look, there's a whole section, well, anyways, some of the states is a recommendation, some of it's required, but their main goal was to eliminate big turf areas that don't really get used, like in the park strips, or, you know, they're trying to, they're not saying you can't have lawn, but make it in areas that are actually usable, like instead of just your entire backyard, you should have a turf area and then the corners and stuff. That's kind of their recommendations. But yeah, I don't think the state level we can look, I don't think it really gets into the type of cover that you have. It's just limiting grass. We'll look at that.
I think these were the bad examples.
That's true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gary, why did you push from 30 to 60?
That's a good question.
I think it was kind of a group effort in engineering. It just seemed like 30% was too low for the total required landscaping area there. I think one of the big things that we were pushing for is where it says not including public right-of-ways. That was kind of one of our biggest issues there, you know, because there's a lot of road projects where we didn't want to have landscaping, put in irrigation systems, run power out to it, stuff like that. So that was kind of our big thing there. I think maybe it was more the Parks Department that was pushing for 60%, but if I remember right. So
But they could still use some other form of mulch, just not rock mulch.
yeah,
So are you pretty stuck on 60 for rock mulch?
well,
Not mulch, just rock mulch.
I guess what's the other alternatives? I guess there are bark mulch, but that's a disaster most
It
of the
is a
time.
disaster,
And it takes a
yeah.
lot of maintenance and care. So we kind of went back and forth and
Sure.
kind of had some words. Kind words, probably. So anyway, that's kind of where we ended up at.
So did you carve out not including public right-of-ways? If I read that right, that
Yeah, in fact, our city engineer was pretty adamant about that. He really wanted to have that in there. I think the rest of it, he was kind of whatever, but that was kind of one of his big things on there too. Because there's a lot of projects that we do on roads and stuff that are coming up where that would just make sense, and we wanted to have that excluded, if it made sense to do so.
and mainly that's for sprinklers or just maintenance, but that the city would have to do on that
Right,
piece
and
of.
it's the city obligation to maintain it. They always look terrible and stuff, so it just seemed like it was a good option for us. And we've done lots of roads that way too, so.
I did love our valiant effort of all the trees on Pioneer Crossing. That lasted 4 minutes.
Well,
And we pulled those out. So, anyway, I mean, my thought on this, I did have questions about that 60%. I think if you carve out the area that right of ways, I mean, why wouldn't we want to limit it to less? Like, I mean, inside the public right of way, yes, let's give the exception. They can go above the 30%. But why would we want them to go above 30% elsewhere where it doesn't affect utilities or road projects?
well, and you can obviously make a recommendation too.
I'm asking for your expertise, though. Is there something that I'm not considering, or
I kind of think,
comment?
yeah, I think that was kind of a debate between the Parks Department, engineering, planning, and even Public Works, of what this would evolve to. it just seemed like 30%. If somebody like wanted to have more than 30%, that they ought to have the option to do it. And I guess we're kind of a lot of the way of property rights. And if they want to have 60%, I could see not having 100%. But I don't know. We just kind of settled at 60%. I don't know if I can give an exact pinpoint reason why we
I don't
settled
know
at
if that number is good or not. I don't know.
Right, yeah. So we're kind of making it up as we go almost. So
Any other questions for staff?
Go to the public.
This is a public hearing. If anybody is here that would like to speak to item 3.6, we'll open the public hearing now. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing.
There's one online.
Sorry, we will reopen for the reading of
Oh, this is a novel,
I'm
just so
glad
you know.
someone's passionate about rocks.
for the synopsis.
Yeah. I don't even know if I could do a synopsis justice, so I either should read it or you should read along silently.
I think you should read it. Jacob,
okay.
read it.
Go ahead.
I maybe should also, I don't know, just another thing I've thought about was, I think our intention with this is it's a first step towards, trying to curtail some of the, excessive rock mulch that we've been seeing. And this may not be the perfect answer, but we want to do something to start moving moving down that
Could
path.
someone? Sorry, we're in public hearing
Yeah.
mode.
Oh.
Well, I'll ask my question after. Go ahead.
Sorry,
Make your
yeah,
comment.
I maybe shouldn't have done that right there, but okay. This is from Montaigne Hamilton, and it reads, "While I support the improvement, but the way we're changing the code is a little haphazard and makes the requirements a little confusing. Likewise, I think reducing to a lower number would be better, and the original 30% is a better number. Here is a proposal for change sections instead of the current proposal. I believe this item could use a little work with staff. Community Forestry Section 35.220, Water Efficiency Standards. D, Landscape Requirements." Maybe I should open these up next to each other. I'll just read it. It'll be easier. Okay, D, Landscape Requirements. 2, lawn shall not be installed in park strips, parking lot islands, or on slopes greater than 25% or 4:1. Grade. 1 or subsection 1, or park strips shall conform to all street tree planting requirements, including proper irrigation. If existing lawn is being removed from park strips to conform to these requirements, all existing street trees that conform to the city's street tree selection guidelines and associated irrigation system shall remain. 2, all park strips for non-residential and multi-family residential uses shall contain at least 50% living plant cover. It is recommended to use drought-tolerant and native plants, including but not limited to grasses and sedges, wildflowers. 3, organic mulch shall be used within 3 feet of tree trunks to avoid sun scalding of trees. Rock mulch shall not make up more than 30% of the mulched areas. 4, exceptions to the park strip requirements may be provided for public agencies, including Lehi City administered transportation projects. 4, for newly installed single-family residential landscapes, lawn shall not exceed 35% of the total landscaped area as defined in this chapter. 1, small residential lots which have no backyards, which the total landscaped area is less than 250 square feet, in which the front yard dimensions cannot accommodate the minimum 8 feet wide lawn area requirements are exempt from the 8 feet width requirement and the maximum of 35% lawn requirement. 2, corner lots that are 8,000 square feet or less are exempt from the maximum of 35% lawn requirement. For the side yard area adjacent to the street, 3, mulched areas shall use organic mulch comprised of no more than 30% rock mulch. 4, it is recommended to use drought-tolerant and native plants in non-lawn areas, including but not limited to grasses and sedges, wildflowers. 5, for institutional churches, schools, etc., and multifamily landscapes in common areas, lawn shall not exceed 20% of the total landscaped area as defined in this chapter. 1, mulched areas shall use organic mulch comprised of no more than 30% rock mulch. 2, it is recommended to use drought-tolerant and native plants in non-lawn areas, including but not limited to grasses and sedges, wildflowers. Yep.
Thank you. We'll now close the public hearing. My question was going to be, Could somebody today put 100% rock mulch in?
They would have to have 50% plant
Plants.
coverage,
Right.
but I don't think we have anything that would prohibit them from xeriscaping as long as they still had the trees and plants required.
But even in this example, the second picture down,
The church.
that would not be allowed, the tree on the right, because it's within 30 feet of the tree, correct?
3 feet.
Or 3 feet?
Oh, from the trunk.
3 feet.
Yeah, 3 feet. So they just want the roots to stay cooler.
Right. So again, these are out of compliance. They would have to have a 3-foot ring.
Considered out of compliance, yeah, if this were to
Right, for
pass,
sure.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if we've gotten like a 100% rock mulch plan. We've gotten some pretty significant, pretty highly rock mulched projects, but that is a good question.
Also, leaves that drop in rock mulch are a nightmare as well.
Like that.
Yeah.
So every time I do see rock mulch, it looks really good when it goes in. And then it looks like the top picture, unless it's a church, it looks like the top picture within a month, a couple months.
So I think it's in this, it's easy to get, this is going to be terrible. It's easy to get lost in the weeds on this one.
Womp womp.
I told you it was going to be bad. I apologize. But it was the only thing that came. But for tonight, we are just talking about the percentage of rock mulch that can be used. Right. And I think we need to work on this because I think there's a lot of great things that can happen and should happen. Montanay's comments explain a lot of that. I think for tonight, right, it is how much rock mulch do we think we should recommend to City Council? And then make sure that, I'm still curious as to why you guys want to carve out your right-of-ways. So we'll come back to that.
Yeah, maintenance. That
Maintenance.
makes sense.
Maintenance.
Yeah, because you gotta take
So
water, you gotta
explain
take everything.
right-of-way to me. Is that just the side, that side of the street, right? Like the
Planter strip.
Yeah,
planter
basically,
strip
like,
thing in the
from
middle?
the back of sidewalk towards the street would be the right of way. So anything within that area, yeah.
Okay. So it's one of those things, well, the city can do this, but residents, it's,
Now, this is also not residential zones. We're not talking about residential zones.
Right.
Right. We're
We're
talking
talking about
about
just commercial,
thank you for that.
non-residential uses.
Non-residential.
Non-residential, and institutions, churches and schools.
Institutions.
I guess multifamily residential too
Okay.
is in there.
Just telling you that first paragraph says commercial.
Yeah.
In the report. So, anyway, any other questions for staff? Or discussion? Maybe a motion.
Well, I don't know if I'm ready for a motion, but I do think 60% is too high. I think we can recommend a lower percentage, whatever that might be.
Split the difference at 45?
How do you measure that?
I have no
I'm
idea.
out there with my tape measure.
I have no idea.
Same way you measure 30 or 60,
Yeah.
right?
Right, or 60,
Yeah.
right. But still, a commercial,
Right, yeah,
you know, they have engineers
All on the
that do
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
yeah. They have the tools to do that.
In feeling, I agree, but I don't know. I don't know
yeah.
enough to say 60 is bad or
Yeah, I think 60 is too much. I mean,
I agree that it feels too much.
yeah.
But 60 is better than 100, though.
Yes.
Or 90 or 80 or 70.
And I do know in some areas of Lehi, you put down wood mulch, and it's going to end up in the lake or in Riverton.
Yep.
I like 50.
It's a
For
good
what
round
it's worth.
number.
I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I could more easily eyeball that and say, yeah, this feels like half and half to me. That's probably not the right way to go about landing on a number, though. So
No, I don't. I think the number has to be recommended from staff. just my feeling, needs to be recommended from staff. I haven't heard a strong argument tonight that 60% of why that is a good number, but I think the numbers needs to be recognized by staff. But there's also a lot that goes into landscaping and why it's certain ways. Like there's right now in Utah, there's two major arguments around the water world with lawns and making it up and how much vegetation we require versus rock and how it looks. There's just so much that goes into it because, yeah, you put rocks in, it does raise the temperature of different areas. So I think this is just one that, for me, I don't feel comfortable putting a number at this point on it, and that I think staff needs to recommend or just bring up a number that it feels rushed is what it feels like. And you probably did discuss it more in depth. I just haven't felt that yet.
You made it sound like there was an argument. I'm guessing a fist fight. That's what I heard, right? No?
Let's just make a boxing ring with rocks and figure it out. Rock? 60% of the ring is all rocks.
No, a bunch of engineers, and they're going
I can argue left and right on this one all day long. So
I don't disagree with you. I do think that, I guess from my perspective, a recommendation would be not 60, but what the number is should be something that staff comes up with and recommends to city council.
Well, it feels to me like 60% is the number that came from staff.
60% is the number that came from DRC, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, at some point, right, this might be something that, city council or even city staff is going to have to defend to a business, right? Or somebody who's wanting to come in and develop. And so I think it might be helpful if we did have maybe just a little bit more reasoning behind the argument of this is why this is the information or the data that goes into this number, and or what we feel like the benefit is when it's not lower than this or not higher than that, just so it's a little bit easier to defend if and when it might be challenged in the future or questions are asked about it.
Comment on that?
Yeah.
Please.
I think if looking back, I think the 60% was probably something we came to a conclusion on because it kind of didn't limit developers' hands so much. It gave them up to 60%, not that they would always go to that amount. There might be some reasons and places where it would make a lot of sense to have more rock mulch than others. It is a little bit more water-wise use, which is what we're always trying to do. Mm-hmm. So it just, I think, gave some more flexibility to developers to use that tool if they wanted it to, rather than tying their hands, because we're kind of trying to keep property rights to people with property rights and not tie their hands too much. I'm sure that's kind of how we came up with that 60%. So it kind of was a good compromise somewhere in the middle.
Why not 50 if we're compromising?
Yeah,
Because somebody
we
wanted
could do
90 and they landed on 60.
I think
Again, it's
That
malice.
was,
That was the compromise.
right.
yeah.
That's probably true though. Somebody wanted.
And every department has kind of their opinion. Parks department, planning, engineering, everybody's kind of got their opinion. It's just kind of where we landed at. So
and engineering liked 60.
I think we're okay with that.
So, just for synopsis, staff recommended or wrote 30. DRC hashed it out and decided that the group was more comfortable with the number 60.
And there was
which is what
multiple
came
meetings
forward.
even before DRC with various city departments. Because I don't think it was just engineering that said
Okay.
60. It's not all on engineering. I think.
No, I'm
Yeah.
not throwing engineering.
But yeah, I think there was multiple meetings even
Not picking on
before it went to
Dang
DRC,
engineers.
and that was the number that was settled on when it went to DRC. When the code went to DRC, it was written this way, and that's why there's not, I would say, probably more DRC comments.
Okay.
Because 60 was settled on. I think if it stayed at 30, there would have been more DRC comments from various departments.
And see, that works for me because I trust DRC to be the experts in this. So, yeah, thank you.
Any further discussion or a motion?
Motion for item 3.6, public hearing recommendation of Lehi City's request for review of a development code amendment to Chapter 35, urban forestry, creating a limit on rock mulch. The motion being that we recommend approval for the proposed amendment to Lehi City Development Code, with the findings being that the proposed development code amendment does seek to get ahead of challenges that come from too much rock mulch in landscaping. The proposed development code amendment allows flexibility for city projects. The proposed development code amendment is in conformance with the purposes, intent, provisions of the general plan and its various elements. And please include those DRC findings.
Can I get clarification? Is this for the 60% rock mulch?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
This one's also a recommendation, not just a straight approval.
I think you said recommendation, but if you didn't, then good
Yeah.
inclusion. We have a motion? I will second it. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Did you get that, Kate? Okay. All right, does carry forward with a positive recommendation to the city council. Any city business?
There's a work session next week. We've got a riveting program for you.
I hear we might go on tour.
There will be a tour at the end. There will be some other content talked about by legal as well as myself. And, not you, by Craig. Craig Chambers, Assistant City Attorney.
Are they bringing him in because we did something wrong?
No, it's just the standard, the standard
Do we need to
discussion.
be worried?
I don't know. Is there anything else that we need to bring up? I think that's it.
It's here, right?
Right here, 5:30. I was gonna say 7 o'clock, but no, we'll be done by 7.
So as applicants have a number of days left to put in their general plan
Oh, yeah.
amendments,
That is
how
a
are
good-
we looking towards next month?
I think we received our first one
Really?
today. So
Interesting.
not a lot of general plan amendments coming in, but you'll probably
There
see
will be
them.
a whole slew of them right after
We'll see.
the month ends,
Yeah,
like we always do. And
I don't know.
We'll-
Yeah, things have been better on that front actually recently. So we may only get the one, we may get 1 or 2 in the next couple days, but yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Can I motion we close the
you may
Wait. Sorry.
timeout?
Can I make a personal?
whatever you want, man.
Well, I just want to, you guys are you're here for school, right? Do you have any questions you want to ask of our chair air?
Chair.
You're representing Skyridge Theater, and we wanted to invite you guys to our
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yes.
if you
My daughter's
give
It
it to
opened
us,
tonight.
you need to give it to her.
Yeah.
Scan it in the minutes.
Please do.
That needs to be the cover.
Are you in the production?
No, I am not. That's why I'm here. They're tonight's opening night.
Tonight is
Oh,
open.
nice.
My
Okay.
daughter is in the ensemble.
Oh,
So,
she is?
yep.
What's her name?
Sasha Lakin.
Oh my gosh, I know her.
Okay.
That's so cool.
Good. It's always good when people have a positive reaction to knowing your child. Sometimes
I mean,
wonder,
it was
like, oh,
it was
I know her.
acknowledgement. Are we
It
sure?
was.
Okay.
It was acknowledged. She smiled, so
She
I'm
did
taking
smile.
that as positive
Yeah,
acknowledgement.
Sasha was really nice, and she went on the French trip.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
we were like best friends during the French trip.
Oh, fun. Oh, that's awesome.
All right,
That's
that
awesome.
was
Yeah.
positive after.
That was positive. That was affirmation. See, I have a good kid. I do. Yeah, it runs through next Tuesday. So yes, everyone should go see it.
Well, our meetings are very exciting. As you can tell,
see.
you're more than welcome for extra credit or whatever other reason.
An assignment.
For credit.
The assignments that
Regular
come and
credit.
watch planning commission?
Nice. You picked the right one to come to. We're done earlier than usual.
Yeah, right.
And there
Although
was
you
no
told me
yelling.
we'd be out of here in an hour.
I was trying.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I won't blame you. It's fine.
But thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Next time, come talk
Thanks.
to us. Come
Yeah.
talk about every item. Give a
Yes.
Just
Give
the
comments.
antagonist.
Ask questions.
um,
Whatever.
Can I motion to close?
Adjourn, yes.
Adjourn. Motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?